Hi there guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new MSI GE60 2PE Apache Pro. So throughout the video we're going to be referring it as the GE60 just to make things a little bit easier. So today MSI are releasing a number of new models and pretty much revamping the entire gaming notebook line. And the GE60 is just one of those models to feature within that range, and it tackles the mid to high end. So I don't know if you guys have ever owned or perhaps had first-hand experience with MSI notebooks before, but we've actually reviewed a number of models over the years, and we've had personal notebooks ourselves from MSI. And one of the things that they seem really serious about, and one of the attributes which really stands out as being paramount, is the quality. So we're really intrigued and excited to see exactly what this notebook entails today. GE60 is being adorned with a very sleek and professional aesthetic, and it comes equipped with Intel's mobile Core i7-4700 HQ processor. NVIDIA's new Maxwell GPU also makes an appearance by way of the GTX 860M. Now this notebook is going to be available today to buy, and it's going to be priced approximately £1,200 or $2,000 US, and that's the standard retail price. So as it becomes more widely available at different retailers, then it's probably going to drop below that £1,000 mark. So if you're in the market for a new gaming notebook, do look out, and sort of have a look at different retailers and perhaps wait a little bit for that price to fluctuate. So we're now going to do a quick unbox on this particular notebook. We're going to have a look at all the features, and then at the end we're going to look at some of the benchmarks just to see how capable that GTX 860M really is. I hope you enjoyed the video guys, and if you've got any comments or questions then do feel free to drop them in the box below. Okay, here we have the packaging for GE60. As you can see there, we've got the dragon in the centre, which is now synonymous with MSI's gaming series. And aside from these brands here down the side, SteelSeries for the keyboard, Dynaudio for the speakers, and Killer for the network connectivity, there isn't really anything else on the packaging to talk about. If I just flip this over, you can see it is pretty much the same. So there's no pictures and no features that we can really talk about. The only thing really is that handle on the top, which might come in useful if you are putting your notebook back into the packaging for a LAN, just for a bit more protection, so it's nice to be able to transport it. So we'll go straight in anyway and take a good look at what you get. Here you can see everything is laid out in its own compartment, and the notebook itself is actually protected within a fabric sleeve. So I'll just open these out just to show you exactly what you get. There you can see we've got the AC adapter, which is actually quite slimline, so that's not too heavy, and it's fairly small and compact, which is nice. And we've also got this power cable which works in conjunction with that, and that is dependent on your geographical location, so this is a UK adapter for us. And then in this compartment here we've got the battery, because of course you have to package your battery separate because it is dangerous. During transit it can get knocked around, and we don't want any explosions or anything like that. So we've got this bubble wrap here which is giving it a bit more protection. So that is actually a 6-cell battery. And just take this notebook out now. You can see there we've got the notebook inside a sleeve, and even more protection for the screen. We've got another sleeve which goes over the screen just to give you even more protection. So that's nice to see that those things have been really carefully packaged. That's nice. And then we've got the documentation, which is inside this pouch here. You can see we've got the driver CD, which has the utilities as well, and the user manual if you need to get access to that. And we've got lots of documentation here. We've got the quick start guide, and we've got the hotkey functions, warranty service book, and the warranty card. Windows 8. Got the compliance booklet there, and also we've got registering to enter a competition. So that pretty much does the packaging, and we're now going to jump in and take a good look at the GE60. So here we have our notebook, and as you can see, MSI has adorned G60 with a professional looking brushed aluminium lid, which really makes the notebook stand out. Rather than going with a flat lid, which you see on many notebooks nowadays, MSI has applied 2 concave edges, which really adds the depth to that particular aspect of G60. We've also got the MSI logo and that dragon insignia, which have been placed in the centre. So we're really impressed by the look and the feel of G60. You're left in no doubt that this notebook has been designed with quality at the very forefront of the priorities. We've flipped the notebook over and you can see here we've got 5 rubber studs, which just help to prevent this unit from slipping on any smooth surfaces such as your desk. And we've also got the ventilation here in key areas, so that's for the critical components. Obviously, if we use this in moderate to intense usage, then it's going to be, building up heat inside, and it just needs that ventilation in order to alleviate any of that unwanted heat. At the front here we've got the front facing speakers, and as we open the unit up we've also got some on the other side, and we'll show that as we go into the video. Got a label here which details the model number. We've got the serial number here in the battery compartment, and that just you'll probably need that if you need to contact MSI for any support if you have any issues or any questions. So we've got the battery here, which is a 6-cell unit, and I'll just show you how to fit that to the notebook. You can see here, you just put this section in first on here, and then you just literally press it down. Over on this far side, we've got a latch, and that just helps to securely fix it in place. While we've got the notebook on its reverse, I've taken the back cover off the unit so that we can take a look at the components which form the basis for G60. So at the heart of our notebook, we've got the Intel Core i7-4700HQ processor, and that's a quad-core unit, and it sits at 2.4 GHz, and then it boosts to 3.4. We've also got NVIDIA's new Maxwell-based GTX 860M, and this comes with 2 GB of GDDR5. Now both the CPU and the GPU have heat pipes which run to the same heatsink, and this has a single fan to dissipate that heat. And the fan speed can actually be adjusted on the fly via a button above the keyboard. And then moving on, we've got a whopping 12 GB of Kingston DDR3, which is rated at 1600 MHz and is CL11. Now for storage, MSI has attached an mSATA 128GB SanDisk SATA 3 SSD. So that's the primary drive, and it's actually got Windows 8 pre-installed. And then for the secondary drive, which is used as the main storage, we've got a 1TB Hitachi drive, and that operates at 7200 RPM. And conveniently, there's an additional mSATA port right next to that Wi-Fi module, which can either add in an extra drive to configure RAID or just boost your main storage. Now on the left hand side of G60 we've got various different ports and features to take advantage of, and the first of those is the Kensington lock allocation. We've got the DC ports, that's to work with the AC adapter. Then we've got the ventilation here, that's to work in conjunction with that CPU and the GPU fan. We've got a single USB 2 port. We've got a HDMI port so you can display to a bigger screen. Then we've got 2 USB 3 ports, and then we've got the gold plated headphone and the microphone jacks, and those work with the MSI Audio Boost. And over on the right hand side we've got this 8-speed Blu-ray drive that also works with CDs and DVDs. Then we've got the single USB 2 port and an additional display port there, that's VGA. So you work that in conjunction with the HDMI and you can pretty much display to multiple screens, so that's a really nice feature to be able to have. Next to that we've got the gigabit LAN. So as well as having the Wi-Fi connectivity, it's sometimes nice to be able to plug directly into the router. It gives you greater bandwidth. That actually works in conjunction with the Killer E2200, so the software on the laptop, on the notebook, that you can gain access to various features to improve your game latency. Okay, we're now going to open the lid and see what's underneath. So then we've got a 15.6-inch LCD screen that is capable of 1080p. And it has the anti-glare functionality, so if you use it in the back garden, it is going to reduce that. Also integrated on that screen is a 720p webcam for use with such applications as Skype. Moving on, we've got this continuation of the high quality brushed aluminium. That actually surrounds the entire keyboard, looks really nice. And this keyboard is actually provided by SteelSeries. So MSI and SteelSeries have been working in collaboration on previous notebooks, And this SteelSeries keyboard here works in conjunction with the SteelSeries engine software. So you can tweak the profiles, tweak the colours, and various different customizable options. Now the SteelSeries keyboard is LED backlit, as you can see, and I'm just going to give you a quick demo as to how this works. We've got a button which is just above the keyboard, and you can cycle through different profiles. I'll just show you this now. We've got another button at the top of the keyboard which allows you to adjust the fan speed inside the notebook. So you may feel it's necessary to increase the fan speed, if you're going to be gaming, for example, for many hours. And here's just a quick demo for you to show you the different speeds and that noise that you can expect. Dyne audio is something that's been present on previous MSI notebooks, and it makes an appearance again with this new GE60. And it's really difficult to demonstrate just how good this speaker system is, but I can assure you that they are so much better than a set of standard notebook speakers. And that in itself transforms activities such as watching movies and then playing games. Now GE60 uses quite a unique touchpad, in as much as it doesn't have the left and the right button here. It's literally part of the touchpad. You just have to press down. You can see there that it drops down as you put force, so you put pressure on it. Now I found it quite tricky and cumbersome to get used to. In fact, throughout the review, as I was testing out this notebook, I actually reverted back to a USB mouse just so that I could get through tasks a lot quicker. So the learning curve with it is slightly longer than I would usually expect with a notebook. And the other thing about this is because it's part of the overall touchpad, you might well be able to pick this up if I not fully press it down, but if I just tap it. It kind of like rattles within this section here. So I don't know, I'm just not very over keen on this particular aspect of the notebook. It's not a major flaw or anything like that. Out of all of the different features, the negatives are very small. This is the only thing really that I could pick up on. Right guys, I'm sure you're really intrigued as to how effective that GTX 860M really is. So I'm going to spark up some of the games on the notebook right now that I've been benchmarking. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to use the benchmark tools within those games, and that should just give you a rough idea as to the frame rate and just how capable that GPU really is. So the first game I'm going to start up is Tomb Raider. I'll just run that. Now I've got this, as you can see, I've got this set to high, and that is going to run at 1080p. Okay, there we go, that's complete now. As you can see, you know, it really was fluid, the motion, the frame rate was very consistent. And we can see there that that gives you around 63, that's 63.6, and that's on high, so, you know, fairly decent performance there from Tomb Raider. I'll just exit now and we'll just spark up another one. I'm going to go for Dirt Showdown. Okay, I'm just going to show you the graphic options, and so we've got it set to 1080p, 4x MSAA, VSync's disabled, and the preset for the detail is set to high. So if we just come back, actually it's in the graphic options, isn't it? Benchmark, it's just at the very bottom. There we go. Okay, there we go, and that's the end of it. As you can see, we've got just under 100 frames per second for the average, which is, you know, pretty good really. That's on high detail, 1080p resolution. So again, consistent, high, you know, decent levels of performance there. Okay, for the last game, I just want to show you a Thief, and spark this up. Now the detail levels there, as you can see, they are set to low, and that's 1080p again. Now the reason I set those to low is because there's a slight performance issue within Thief on this particular notebook. Now I spoke to NVIDIA and I spoke to MSI, and we're not sure exactly what the problem is. Personally, I think it's down to perhaps a driver issue between, you know, obviously Thief is a fairly new title, and this is a new GPU. so I don't think it's quite optimized for the performance. So as you can see here, we've got it set to low, and even the menu system, it lags behind the cursor. So you can kind of understand that the benchmark isn't going to run particularly well. If the menu system isn't running well, then the actual game performance in-game isn't going to be very good. So we've got it again set to 1080p at low detail, and I'll just hit this just to give you a bit of an idea as to how it runs, because I've actually run this and it's in the full review, and there are some comments over there about the lagging performance. As you can see, it's just sitting there just under 10 frames per second for the average, which is really poor considering this is low detail. So that's basically it. I've run 3 different games there for you to kind of get an idea of what to expect. Thief is kind of on its own. It's not really consistent with the rest of the results. So I've run Battlefield 4 on the full review. You can expect in high detail there around 50 frames per second, and most of the gaming titles which are fairly new, you're going to get around 50 frames per second, or around that sort of area, perhaps even more, and that's with high detail. So hopefully those performance issues with Thief will be rectified very soon. So that completes our look at the new GE60, and I hope you found this video useful. And it's great to see that MSI continuing to design and produce great quality notebooks. And with this particular model being directed at the gamer, MSI haven't just gone away, put in a high-end GPU, slapped on a few labels and then introduced it to the market. It's obvious that they've carefully sat down, designed, mapped out certain ports and functionality, and by then collaborating with peripheral and sound experts like SteelSeries and Dynaudio, these particular distinct areas are well catered for, and to a very high level as well. And we may well have only gone through a few benchmarks in this particular video, but if you want to see the full suite, go over to that link in the description, and you can see there just how consistent this GE60 really is. Anything that we put in its path, it pretty much decimated, and it proves that it is a great all-round notebook. But if you did want to perhaps improve things, perhaps swap out the DDR3, I don't know why you would. It's 12 gig is sufficient, but you could do that if you wanted to. Perhaps faster frequency, upgrade the SSD, drop in another one to RAID 0. There's lots of different options in there. So guys, that pretty much concludes things on our level. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. Thanks very much for taking the time out to watch this video. If you could be as kind to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that. And I'll see you very soon.